Hello, everyone. And Dawn, thank you for those very kind words of introduction. It's such an honor to receive this recognition, Leading for Impact Lifetime Achievement Award from leaders like Dawn, who are providing such incredible service to America. And it's this precious ideal of service, which comes in many forms, that I'd like to address today. We must remember the truest leaders are also public servants. The ideal of the servant leader is an individual who only pursues greater power in order to serve a greater good. That belief, that most pure leadership philosophy, was formative to our democracy and remains critical to its survival. Margaret Thatcher once said, "There is little hope for democracy if the hearts of men and women cannot be touched by something greater than themselves." Servant leaders are not driven by power. They're driven by a call to serve. Their motivation is echoed in how President Lyndon Johnson described the presidency, when he said, "The burden of the president's responsibility literally opens up his soul. No longer can he accept matters as given. No longer can he write off hopes and needs as impossible." The president's words are not only a charge for those in elected office, they are a charge for government contractors, consultants, and IT specialists. They are a charge for all of us who proudly call ourselves Americans. 8 years ago, I established the Elizabeth Dole Foundation to lead our nation to better serve and support the 5.5 million young spouses, mothers, dads, siblings, and other loved ones caring for America's wounded warriors at home. The responsibilities of these hidden heroes are simply overwhelming. There's back-breaking work, sleepless nights, heartache, loneliness, and worry, and the root causes of their challenges are deeply systemic. Yet some of the most transformative work we've done to date, and some of the most promising progress yet to come, have been made possible by the telehealth designers and data visualization experts at Philips, and the management consultants and data specialists at Booz Allen Hamilton. Their resumes and business cards might not say that they're setting out to change the world for the better, but they made the decision to apply their skills to do just that. They committed themselves to serve the greater good. Mother Teresa once said, "The test at the end of life is not what you do. It is how much of yourself, how much love you put into what you do." Servant leaders take on causes bigger than themselves, and committing yourself to solving societal challenges is far from easy. It comes with hard work and little glory. The problems are complicated and interconnected, yet our nation's standing as the world's greatest example of a free society has always relied on servant leaders, setting aside their own comforts, caring little for their own legacy, to do what is just and right. To their core, servant leaders place the well-being of others ahead of their own. Clara Barton, founder of the American Red Cross, said of serving others, "You must never so much as think whether you like it or not, whether it is bearable or not. You must never think of anything except the need and how to meet it." Those who act as servant leaders see the humanity in others. They take time to understand each other, appreciate each other. Inevitably, leaders who can look beyond superficial divisions and see the good in one another are more effective at solving our nation's biggest challenges. They know, as George Washington reminded us in his farewell address, that our unity is the pillar of our independence. Or as President Reagan so eloquently observed nearly 200 years later, our two-party system has served us well over the years, but never better than in those times of great challenges, when we came together not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans united in a common cause. No matter their level of confidence or achievement, servant leaders are humble and willing to accept the consequences of their decisions. On the eve of the D-Day invasion, General Eisenhower drafted a statement to be released if the invasion failed. In it he wrote, "If any blame or fault attaches to the attempt, it is mine and mine alone. Let me repeat those powerful words. If any blame or fault attaches to the attempt, it is mine and mine alone. No matter their level of confidence or achievement, servant leaders are humble and willing to accept the consequences of their decisions. On the eve of the D-Day invasion, General Eisenhower drafted a statement to be released if the invasion failed. In it, he wrote, "If any blame or fault attaches to the attempt, it is mine and mine alone." Let me repeat those powerful words. If any blame or fault attaches to the attempt, it is mine and mine alone. In the final analysis, that's what great leaders do. They don't pass the responsibility or blame to someone else. They stand ready to make the hard decisions and to live with failure or success. I know the climb to a position of leadership is never as easy as it should be for women. We're prepared to work hard, to work tirelessly for our achievements, though we always seem to encounter a few extra roadblocks along the way. I remember when I arrived at Harvard Law School, I was one of just 24 women in a class of 550. On my first day of class, a fellow student approached me in a bluster, demanding to know, "What are you doing here, Elizabeth? Don't you realize you're taking the place of a man who would give his right arm to be here? A man who would use his legal education?" That man is now a partner in a high-powered law firm. And every now and then, I tell that little story around town. You'd be amazed at the number of my male classmates who call me to say, "Please tell me I'm not the one, Elizabeth. Tell me I didn't say that." You could hardly blame them, though, considering some of our professors at Harvard Law were not much better. My contracts professor, Barton Leach, actually had Ladies' Day each semester, the only day he would call on one of the 5 women in his section. We women also had to write and recite a poem as he sat with the male students. Can you believe that? I also had a torts professor who only called on the 5 women in his section when there was something involving a woman in the case. For example, a woman's pocketbook has been stolen. And as we women were reading the case, we'd think, uh-oh, one of us 5 will be called on tomorrow. Moments like these may spur our frustration or anger, but they do not absolve us from our responsibility to persevere, lead, and serve. Remember, the spirit within you is stronger than you can imagine. The iconic writer Washington Irving once remarked, "There is in every woman's heart a spark of heavenly fire, which lies dormant in the broad daylight of prosperity, but which kindles up and beams and blazes in the dark hour of adversity." As servant leaders, you will often find yourselves in that dark hour of adversity. In fact, I would encourage you to seek out those dark spaces, because that's where you're needed most. That's where you can do the most good. And that's where other leaders of more fragile spirits will fear to go. Yes, delivering others from the depths of crises and devastation requires both a steeled will and an open heart. That's the ultimate hardship shouldered by servant leaders, having the compassion and the empathy to absorb the hardships of others while maintaining the strength to lead onward. When you find yourself struggling in those moments, overwhelmed by the challenges in front of you, I encourage you to ask yourself 2 simple questions. If not now, when? If not me, who? As servant leaders, we must train ourselves not to ask, "Why me?" Instead, we must demand of ourselves, "Why not me?" Since our nation's birth, our freedom has been nurtured and protected by servant leaders, leaders willing to set aside praise, fame, and glory to achieve a goal more important and consequential than their personal ambitions. Thank you so much for stepping forward to serve our nation as servant leaders. Thank you for your dedication to your country, your fellow Americans, and to causes bigger than yourselves. I will cherish this award, and I look forward to what each of you will accomplish in the years ahead. God bless you all.